Open it up.
Open it up. I already got it open. This is a Polar Now only show. We're going sober. Trilly, ladies and gentlemen, he's giving everything up. We're Polar sponsor us. What's going on, everyone? Take a moment real quick, clap it up. It is the show's anniversary,
Well,
channel anniversary, ladies and gentlemen.
2 year.
Welcome, 2 year.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the greatest show on the internet, the greatest sports takes on planet Earth. You're listening to Hollywood Hair. You're listening to Brennan the Bod. We come to you. It is the NFL second week we're going into, ladies and gentlemen. We had the first. I took my bumps and bruises. Trilly came out on top. We're going to talk about it. Thank God we're almost a week away from last Thursday. I almost threw up that night if you were on the Instagram. By the way, go like, subscribe, share the video. Obviously, follow us on social media. Follow us on our Instagram. That's where we're going to be interacting with you guys the most. That's where we're going to be putting up our posts. That's where we're going to be putting up our bets to make you money. Brendan the Bod, how are we doing, dude? How are we doing?
Good.
Week 2, baby. Week 2.
Good. Yeah, it was fun. A fun weekend. Got to hang out. Worked a little bit for the first hour, for that first slate of games, but it was a lot of good football to be played. A lot of sloppy football to start the week and to finish it.
Yep.
But football is football. We love good, bad, and indifferent football because, man, you sit back, hang out, watch that ball move around the screen. There's nothing better. Maybe win some bets. I think looking at the numbers for the last week, we went just at 50% between the two of us for our straight up bets that
Yep.
we put out there. You went 3-2, I went 2-3. So together, 50% for the pod for
We'll
the
take
week.
it.
We'll take it. The HTP came up short from the very
It died on
beginning.
the vine. It
Yeah,
died on
that
the
was
vine.
terrible by Harold Hoops. We got to
All right.
stay away from the Thursday games, but we're gonna bring you that the HTP, our two picks and our two touchdown scores towards the later end of this here podcast episode. But yeah, I mean, before we get into the NFL talk about these games, yesterday 9/11, respect, love everybody, and we remember everybody that day. Nick Castellanos to go yard was an absolute, it was a lock, and I hope everybody was on top of that. And the Phillies might get a dub here. They're up 3-2 as we're recording this right now, but absolutely electric. But from that, Harold, let's get into the NFL action here. Well, let's start with the first primetime
Hold on.
game.
Before we do that, this is also a Texas only show. We have one team here in the NCAA college football playoff that we will be supporting regular season, and that's 3. We got 3 on our chest, 3 on our back. What did Stu Feiner say? Never retire. That's right. A 4-year quarterback coming back. We got Archie Manning sitting behind, waiting for his opportunity, like the smart man that he is, knowing what Texas will give to him, knowing what the Longhorns are. This is SEC football, ladies and gentlemen. This is Texas going to the big boys' house, going to the reigning national champions and taking them down. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gents. Have I been a Michigan man in the past? Yes, I am. When it comes to college football, I'm an assassin. I jump ship left and right. If you're winning, if you got the players, if you got the coaches that I like, I'm riding with you. Now, the thing about Texas is, you might be saying, Harry, why do you like Texas? Ladies and gentlemen, I love Texas. Number one, the color orange, the homage to our former university. But beyond that, I love Sark. I really do. Like, I love Sark as a coach. I think that he's awesome. Another sober giant in the game. Shout out. He's rocking polars with us as well. I'm right there with him. So go Texas, roll Texas. Texas is for real. Texas will be winning the national title.
And especially with my Irish going down terribly.
Oh, dude, let's not even talk about them. And Quinn Ewers is going to win the Heisman, but more than that, they're getting a championship. Quinn Ewers is going to get drafted number 1 overall. Go Texas! All right, let's get into it, dude. A recap. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with the primetime games here. And Trill, I can't bring up last Thursday without like convulsing. So I'm going to let you give a breakdown, and then I'll add the color commentary.
Yeah, we had to give you a phone call to check in on you after the fact there, and you were ready. You were ready to do some things. You were down in the dumps.
I was.
We had to give you all the spin zones. For as ugly and as sloppy as that Ravens team played a little bit there, you gave it to the Chiefs a little bit. You were able to hang with the best of them there, and you were able to come out and only a 7-point loss. I mean,
Yep.
It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty. There's a lot to improve on. I mean, Isaiah likely said it. He's like, hey, I like our chances if it comes back to to the playoffs again. It might be a little bit stupid to think about that because the Chiefs are going to get a lot better too.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I mean, the Ravens, that's a tough week 1 game. If you
Tough
can
week
come
one game.
away with
The
anything
toughest.
from that, is just both of these teams are ready to compete and ready to go on long postseason runs here and maybe finish start the year and finish the AFC calendar. That might be a good possibility with this two teams as long as everybody stays healthy, right? So I mean, I think that's kind of where you got to take away from it. There was a lot of great things on the side for the Ravens, and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. They
Yeah.
they figure it out every single way. Travis Kelce really wasn't a huge factor in that game, and you find guys like Xavier Worthy, they get in the first round somehow. I mean, Pacheco is an absolute beast running the football in the second half, right?
Yeah.
And then Rashid Rice is just getting open in the middle of the field now because you have two guys to stretch him out on the outside, and then they were just kind of picking on Roquan a little bit in pass coverage where they were kind of
Mhm.
doing stick routes in the middle, hitting their guys, getting 5 to 10 yards, and moving their way down the field. But then the Ravens were able to step up and make some plays. That there's a lot to be desired, and I could definitely tell your frustrations, but there was a
Mhm.
lot of good things to come away with it. The one thing that I think that you got to do moving forward is Derrick Henry only had 13 carries.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Lamar and then everybody else. Where was everybody else? Like Isaiah Likely had a big game with a couple big catches. Zay
A
Flowers six
highlight
for
reel of the
37.
season, to be honest,
Yeah, like he hit everybody with the
with the
Lamar
step
step.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was a great play. But Lamar was out there doing everything by himself, felt like a little bit.
Yeah, man. No, I mean to jump in, I have three main points from this game. If you were listen, if you got a phone call from me in the first 48 hours of that loss, I'm sorry. That's all I'll tell you to all the boys. I'm sorry
Yeah, it
because
was it
it was
was
it was brutal. It was brutal. I was convulsing. I was throwing up on the phone. You could probably smell my puke after I did that the video on Instagram. And there was just so much to be upset about because like Trilly opened this conversation with, we played so bad and yet we're still so close. So I have three main takeaways from this game that I got to get, and my last one's going to be about the quarterback and going to be about what you just brought about it only being Lamar. But I'm going to start with number one. Number one, this must have been like what it was to be 24, and you're going on 30, 24 and
yeah.
like 30
Okay.
to really understand football and at least to get it somewhat, and to be watching from 2012 on the Patriots, watching this team year in and year out be dominant, year in and year out, barely bring back the guys that they've had and add really no one with name brand recognition. Because you think about it, outside of that 2010 season for the Patriots, when they brought in Randy, who were the big receivers that they brought in? Think about it. Nobody. They just kept bringing back Edelman. They just kept bringing back Wes Welker. They just kept bringing back Gronk. And yet they would
Amendola,
go
like
Amendola, and then they would go on and on and on. They bring back LeGarrette Blunt. He comes off winning a championship with the Eagles. They're like, okay, let's go get him. And he goes and or excuse me, he wins a ring, and then he goes and wins a ring with the Eagles. The point just being, who was LeGarrette Blunt? Nobody, but he won back-to-back rings. One of the reasons being is because he was with the Patriots. And that's what I think now it's like watching this Kansas City Chiefs team, man. It's you're seeing what's proven to me now is that there will be, this probably sounds so stupid before it happens, but in about 12 years, the next Patrick is going to enter the league. There's going to be somebody who is going to win. I'm not saying it's going to win Tom Brady rings like 7. I'm not saying somebody who's going to win 5, but there's going to be somebody who's going to win another 3. There's going to be somebody else in our lifetime that we're going to see and we're going to be like, oh my gosh, we're doing this over again. And then kids our age are going to be saying the same thing. Maybe it's not 12 years, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, right? But my point just is, dude, is that what we're clearly seeing is this is absolutely a dynasty. This is more of a dynasty to make a hot take here. This is more of a dynasty than the Golden State Warriors ever were and ever will be. Because the Golden State Warriors had to go get KD to win more championships. These guys lose their top receiver and are winning rings. They lose Tyreek Hill and they win more Super Bowls. This is one of the
I mean,
greatest
Golden
dynasties.
State was doing it with the three of them before they got KD. I mean, they
They
could
did it once,
the
and
Chiefs
then they
can
had
go out and get a guy like a Kevin Durant
they
and
can,
just
but they
cement
don't
this
need
even
to.
more. But they don't
That's
need
the
to.
point.
I agree.
They don't need to. They don't need to go out and say, no, Tyreek, we're going to pay you whatever you want to keep winning. We'll win without you. They don't need to go and get a Devontae Adams. They don't need to go out and get a Stephon Diggs. They don't need to go out and get another. They don't need to go out and try to land Mark Andrews, another insane tight end. They don't need to go out and get a Derrick
Mark
Henry.
Andrews. What
We're
happened
going to get
there?
into that. We're going to get into that in a moment. But that's just my point of what I would make is that the Kansas City Chiefs is clearly what it was like to watch the Patriots from 2012 on. This is a team that without a doubt I believe that Patrick's going to get 4 if not 5. I think he's unequivocally going to be the second best quarterback of all time. I think that Andy Reid is without a doubt on his way to being the greatest coach of all time. People forget that this guy went to Super Bowls without Patrick Mahomes. This guy went to NFC championships without Patrick Mahomes. He's been there before. He's got more winning seasons than Bill Belichick. So all praise to these guys. So that's my first point. My second takeaway was the officiating this season. It did not win KC the game by any means, but God, does New York got to clean up what their refs are doing. God, do they got to clean up what their refs are doing?
Yeah,
Because
they
if you
they had those points of emphasis that they always have, and they were pegging you for it.
and
They were straight up pegging, no lube, just going right after you.
and it was terrible. I mean, when we think about it in the course of years, there's a call that was made in a Super Bowl. Now the Chiefs deserved to win that game. I'm sorry, brother. They did. They beat Chiefs fair and square. They won. But it's not like the Eagles weren't in that game. It was a 3-point game, and you have a ticky-tack call that helped to the result of what ended up happening. And my final point would be there, dude. New York has got to get it cleaned up. The amount of what was that main call that they were calling in that Rams Detroit game on
What,
the
the
what's it
illegal
called?
motion or
The,
whatever?
the amount that illegal motion's been called week 1, and then again on Monday night, it's like, dude, let the guys play. What are we doing right now? And then my final point for every Baltimore fan and any non-Baltimore fan that hated on 8 after that game, you either are brain dead or that was your first game that you've ever watched of football. Because that dude had no offensive scheme out of the first 12 minutes of that game, put the team on his back, lowered his shoulder into D linemen, into inside and outside linebackers, and made plays happen that I will make this argument that no other quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes could make. No other quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes, the second greatest quarterback of all time, the current and reigning Super Bowl back-to-back champion, could make happen outside of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got paid the money that he made and then went on and had the greatest regular season, not the greatest, excuse me, the best regular season this past year, won his second MVP of the league. The dude is the real deal. The dude is one of the most legit quarterbacks to ever come under center. He is an absolute legit passer. It's no joke that the Chiefs defense is going to be top 5 week in and week out this year. But when you have Monken not being able to create a scheme to separate outside of your first 12 minutes, which was play action and give the ball to Henry, we're done. And I'm sorry, dude, I can't agree with you. No, Henry should only be having 13 carries a game until week 15 or 16 because I didn't pay him to be a regular season player. I want him to be
Yes,
a
later.
January and February player. So for everyone that hated on 8 and said Lamar can't get it done, did you watch the game? The dude was rolling out of pocket every other play because our offensive line that went out there looked like that the last time they played was high school football. It looked like they had maybe played for Trilly or for Trilly's high school. They played all boys high school. I mean, the way that Chris Jones broke down, that the reason why Chris Jones was on the sideline so tired is because every play for four quarters, he got through the line and was having a day. Tyler Linderbaum, the jersey I was wearing, couldn't stop anything. So I'll end this rant, but I can't stand the idea that people think that Lamar Jackson is the reason why the Ravens lost that game. Sure, did he not see Zay Flowers in the end zone and make a horrible read? Absolutely, he did. He then on the very next play got it to a receiver who, because we live in a league that replays, that game didn't go to overtime. That's all I'm saying. I got Eight's back. I love Eight. Eight is our future. Eight is going to win a Super Bowl, and the Chiefs are who the Chiefs are. They're a dynasty. They will be a January team. I still believe that they're not a regular season team, even though they beat us. But I'll tell you what, man. I mean, this is what happens when you get arguably the greatest coach of all time and without a doubt a top 5 quarterback together. They win. And that's it.
Yeah. My biggest thing for the Ravens before we wrap it up here was, that first drive, Lamar and Derrick Henry were just absolutely feasting.
Yes.
The offensive line was moving downfield. They were scheming everything up. The first 20 plays, scripted plays, perfection. Awesome. Then what happened? Then it was Lamar go make it happen. And Lamar made it happen a lot. And sometimes you run out of bullets trying to make plays left and right. You need to help your guy out. At the end of the day, Lamar Jackson played his ass off in that football game, gave him every single chance to win it. Came up a little short. You need some guys to make some plays around them. It is what it is. At the end of the day, there Ravens are going to be fine. They're going to be just okay. They're going to be great. They're going to be all over this. They're going to be with the Chiefs at the end of the season, playing it for another AFC title. Hopefully, we'll see. It was a really good game. They need to get some guys around Lamar, though. I mean, or these guys got to really start to develop more because, what happened to Mark Andrews, dude? Like, where was this guy? I get he's coming off a big time injury.
Yeah. Monken kept him in the block. I mean, I can't stress this enough. I thought that it was a great hire bringing this guy from Georgia, helped lead us and got Lamar Jackson centered in and a guy that he was really clicking with to have an incredible regular season, roll over the Texans, host the Chiefs, and honestly, poop to bed. But it's like, what was our scheme at? I mean, dude, when you watch that game, there was no scheme after the first 12 minutes.
Yeah,
we
the
didn't
first
take
20, the scripted plays were fantastic.
But the reason why that is, though, is it goes back to one crucial thing. You will never win a football game if your offensive line cannot give your quarterback time to read the field. Mm-hmm. And the Ravens offensive line looked like the offensive line that we put for so many years in front of Joe Flacco. It failed. We got a capital F.
Yep. All right, enough of this loser talk. Let's talk about a real football team.
Let's talk about some winners.
Let's talk about a real football team that went out there on down in Brazil on another terrible football field, by the way, and catches a big time dub against a good Green Bay Packers team. I mean, that's the Birds, baby, the real Birds. Philadelphia Eagles went out there and it was ugly. It was sloppy. Yeah. It was terrible to start that football game. But what was I telling everybody last week? This Eagles defense has potential. Everybody was hating on the youth movement that this defense, we don't have anybody that's proven we're going to get torched. They did a little bit towards the middle of the game, but this Eagles defense was the reason they won the football game. Jalen Hurts was handing the football over the first 3 drives. And the fumble wasn't his fault. They're figuring it out, him and Cam Jurgens, but the interception was absolutely terrible. And to only be down 9-0 to start the football game when you were handing the ball to them on their side of the field every single time, kudos to Vic Fangio. Kudos to this defense. They have all the potential in the world to keep on growing and keep on getting better. Quinyon Mitchell is a stud. Jalen Carter is a stud. The rest of this defense has got to keep developing. Zach Ball, Nakobe Dean. What linebackers have we ever had in Philadelphia that are that good and that young? There's a lot of upside. The pass rush has to start to get to home. I'm kind of blaming the turf a little bit there, but we'll see what happens come Monday night. Because this Eagles defense can be legit, and I'm excited about that. But then, Harry, I kind of want to get your thoughts on it. As bad as Jalen Hurts had of a game on the face value, he made a lot of great passes at the same time, too.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me that a guy throws for 278 yards and had like the worst game ever. Yeah. He had a couple really, really bad moments in this football game, but the guy still plays at a really high level of football, and they scored 34 points while he had one of the worst games of his career. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, what's your kind of thought on Jalen Hurts as an outside?
Well, my thought is, dude, I mean, listen, I have 2 things that you're not going to like to hear. I'll start with 3. I'll start with 1 that you'll like and 2 that you won't. Number 1, I'm a Jalen guy. You know I'm a Jalen. I'm one of the biggest Jalen guys who's not an Eagles fan. I love Jalen. Again, one, when he wears green, I've said he's the cloth of Patrick Mahomes. When he's at the podium, he's what you want. When he's under center, he's what you want. He's a leader. He's a winner. But there are two takeaways for the Eagles that, though you won, are very, very scary, in my opinion, as a non-fan. You could not run the ball the way that you could run it. The way that your tush push worked last year.
All right, the tush push, sure. Harry, they ran for 144 yards.
Well,
what the fuck are you talking about, dog?
Of course,
that bomb on the podcast.
Of course,
Saquon Barkley ran for 109 yards. What do you mean they can't run the football?
I'm talking about for
the
when
tush
you're in
push,
those,
yes.
I'm talking about for when you're in those gritty plays for outside when you don't want Saquon, who's had an injury history. Don't get me wrong, dude. Saquon's in the best position he's ever been in. But he, like Derrick Henry, is not a guy that you brought in for the regular season. You brought in Saquon for the NFC chip and beyond.
And if you follow BSP Media on YouTube and you follow me on Instagram, you saw the clip I put out yesterday where I agree with that. We got to lower those 24 carries down to about 16 to 20 in that range. I don't need him all right now. I agree with that 100%. But Saquon's not getting touched for 3, 4, 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Listen, dude. It's my worry just is that what I think that the Eagle
he's gonna get burned out and he might get hurt. I don't want that.
No, and what I'm clarifying is one of the Eagles' best parts of their game is their clock management. And the reason why they are so effective is because what did I bring up that time, that cadence on our podcast last year? Boom, boom, boom. Let's hit Smith. Let's hit Brown. Okay, let's slow it down. Tush push. 3-yard run here. Okay, going back. Let's go back to Goddard, back to Brown. Okay, here we go. And my worry is when we look at this team and we look at the way that they played, they absolutely can win in a shootout. But I don't think that is the Eagles' ideal identity. The Eagles want to wear you out, push you down, and beat you by 10, not beat you in a 38-35 like that Super Bowl game. That was my biggest takeaway. I think that when it comes down to it, I hear you, dude.
Everyone had an 8-minute drive to end the game, Harry.
They did. They did, and they closed out. They also did. The other team didn't
score because they fumbled on the tush push at the end, but they finished the game out.
They did, and the other team also didn't have their main guy under center. We do just have to say that.
What are you talking about? He got hurt on the last play of the game.
I thought he got hurt the play before.
Well, I'm sorry. The last play of the game.
Either way, where I'm just coming at
they had their guy under center the whole game.
No, and he showed that he's legit. I think that the Eagles are solid. They're good to go. Where I'm just coming at it from is I think that for the Eagles to win, they've got to have their identity, which is that slow play. And I think that they got pushed in this game. Listen, they set the tone of let's be rapid here because they were able to score on the run unlimited. But my point just is that, again, like you pointed to, you don't want to have Saquon moving that much. At some point when we get to week 5 and week 6, I don't want to see that Saquon ran that much unless literally the team is Swiss cheese. If the 49ers turn to Swiss cheese, you were playing them week 5 and you want to put Saquon in for 3 tutties, do it. But again, he's a guy like Derrick Henry that I don't want to do that right now if I don't have to. My end point is the Eagles are always going to be great. Again, anyone who hates on Hurts doesn't understand football. The kid's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And his offensive talent is so bought into him. And you're right, the defense has sewn up things that you didn't think that they would. Still allowed a lot of points, but hey, the Green Bay's really good. I think that if you can just slow that game down, they can get the tush push down, you'll be solid.
They were rusty. They were super rusty. Jalen Hurts was out there trying to play hero ball. I was saying the other day is he needs just to be the point guard. He needs to get the ball to all these weapons and just stop. He's had time in the pocket. His worst plays is when he had time because he was sitting there, looking, roll out a little bit, looking for something. And you're like, no, just get rid of it. Because this Eagles offense, I don't care what down and distances is, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 9. They can pick it up. They can pick it up every single time, and that's because of the new scheme system with Kellen Moore and all these offensive weapons. Jalen Hurts just has to be comfortable in himself and trust these weapons. Did you see the way Saquon, AJ, and Devontae were talking on ESPN
Oh,
after
they're
the
all
game?
locked, dude. They're
Dude,
all so
these
locked.
guys, they know. They
Yeah,
know how good they can be and how
they're so
great they
locked.
are. Like they Jalen's just got to get them the ball.
Yeah.
That's it at the end of the day. Cut the turnovers out. This team, the defense guy, they can't give up the big plays like that. But I think a little bit was you're playing a good offense. I mean,
Yeah.
Jaden Reed getting 131 yards on you on two big plays is it's a tough look there, right? So there's a lot of good that or a lot of bad that came out of it, but a lot of good also. This team can start to roll people once they put it all together.
They absolutely can. And again, what I will say is that if they can get down what I just said, which is that they can manage both sides, they can speed you up like Miami can, or they can slow it way, 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 way down like a Steelers game. If they can go both of those, dude, watch out. Because if you can put both, that is what made Miami collapse. Miami only had one gear fast.
Just the
And
counter before we move on. I mean,
yeah,
to start the game, it was 6 points for Green Bay. The middle, the second and third quarters is where it was a track meet. And then the
mhm,
fourth quarter is where it was 3 points on 3 points, where the defense stepped up to start the game and they stepped up to end the game. The
end the game.
offense, terrible out the gates, track meet, and then they finished and they did the 8 minute drive to get you down the field, get you the field goal, get you the
Yep.
win. I think it's there. I think it was ugly and it was really quick in the middle portion of that game, but I think they did a little bit of everything that you said that
They
you want to see.
absolutely did. They absolutely did. They had a sprinkle of everything. They can absolutely succeed and
All
go
right,
farther.
on to the
Yes.
next.
On to
Birds are
the
winning the
next.
Super Bowl.
All right,
Which
that's
bird? I
that.
don't know.
Well, this is the crazy part, man, is that let's go to that next primetime game, which to me has really shaken up what the NFC has been over the past couple of years, man. And I am just going to say this. Though I love Jalen and though I think he's amazing, I'm going to say one thing. There is no one under center who is better when at their pure healthiest that they can be week in and week out than 9 in Los Angeles. Dude, that dude, he may have lost that game, but God, is he back? I mean, Matthew Stafford looked like the Matthew Stafford who won a Super Bowl within the last 4 years. Dude, this Detroit Los Angeles game, and Detroit won that game while honestly losing that game. Detroit got outplayed and outmatched on the offense and especially defensive side of the ball in that first half. And they still came out with the win. I think this is great for viewership of NFC games. I think that it shows it's not just going to be the same runaround where it's like, okay, we know the Eagles are going to be in it. We know the 49ers are going to be in it. And really everybody else isn't that great. And the Detroit's all right. Maybe they'll do something. Now it's like, dude, you're looking at it. You've got the Vikings who had a resounding win. You've got Los Angeles who's back in the mix with the Cooper Cup, with the Puka Nakua who goes out and they still play the way that they did when he's healthy. You know how good they're going to be. And with a Matthew Stafford who's ready to go. And I think that honestly, this game points to a little bit of what you brought up last week on the show, man. Detroit has got to pump their brakes before they think that they're Super Bowl favorites, man. Because you play that way against the Eagles, you play that way against the 49ers, you will not win.
Dude, they were up 17-3 in the third quarter and they were losing. Now they went and they got a big stop and they were able to get the ball back and force overtime and then just run the ball down the Rams' throat. But I was ready. I was ready to pull the trigger. I'm asking Kieran, our editor, hey, can we get this clip out? Can we get it ready?
Yeah.
I want to fire on this once they
Yep.
choke this game. Tell
Yep.
everybody, hey, I told you so. But
Sell
we're
your
gonna wait.
stock.
We're gonna hold on it because I can feel it coming. This Lions team's not as great as everybody's saying. But yeah, it was a good football game. The over should have happened. There were so many opportunities to start that football game that should have been turned into points. Both teams going for it. And that's just the risk you run when you're betting overs because these teams are willing to be aggressive to go for those 7. But if they're not coming away with 3 at the end of the day inside the 30, it could be a low scoring game like it was here. So I don't know. I think the Rams are a good team. I'm not too worried about them because they definitely have flaws. But I'm definitely not worried about the Lions.
No, I'm not worried. I'm not. And I think, again, I'll say this. Though we're going to get into the 49ers game next, though they lost and though the 49ers look so good, I still have the Rams winning the NFC West. I really do. Dude, the way that Matt showed how he can still play. I mean, dude, when we talk about what a pure offensive scheme should look like, I truly think that the best to do it outside of Andy is probably Sean. I really do.
Play calling. Yeah.
Just the movement of his team up and down the field on that offensive side. When you lose a guy like Puka, who is a resounding player now, and he goes down early in that game, and you adjust and you still keep it so tight on the road. Like, dude, like they're good. The Rams are back, man. Off of a loss, the Rams are back.
I think that's a bit. But I hear your point. I got an idea that I just thought of, but let's get into this last game of the slate here. But I have an idea for the other games, but
Okay.
let's talk about this 49ers Jets game. I just want to
Yeah,
start
man.
off the Jets quit. And I'm not happy about it. The Jets are going to
No,
be fine for the rest of the season, but if the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, these other big time contending teams just
yep,
quit with 4 minutes left like that, they'd be a
insane,
laughing stock all over the place. I wouldn't hear the end
insane.
of it if the Eagles quit like that.
No,
I'm still hearing it the way the Eagles collapsed last year. This team legit on Monday Night Football week 1 said, "Nah, we're good. We got our asses kicked." That's crazy. The Jets are gonna be fine. They're a team that seemed like they were still figuring it out, where they had flashes of moving the football on offense, but their defense is taking a big step back. This 49ers team, great offense, but that Jets defense last year was absolutely stellar. It was a shell of itself two
can
nights
I
ago.
ask you a totally unrelated question that really doesn't matter to this game for the rest of the points that we're going to make before we move off it and go into our picks? But it matters to me because he's the former Raven. I've always loved him, and I love him rocking 2 or 5 Flacco's number, but he looks the best in 2. Are there teams? Honestly, is his last team regretting that what teams are regretting that Tyrod Taylor is not their quarterback right now? And I really do mean that. Because, dude, like you look, I
Their
understand that
starting quarterback
they
or
took,
just having him in the room?
yeah, for a starting quarterback to have. I mean,
One,
dude,
two.
he's absolutely better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's
He's
what I was.
absolutely he's absolutely better than Minshew.
Yeah, those are the first two teams I just looked at. Yeah.
Yeah, and they played one.
Uh, I
I,
mean, maybe the Patriots. Nah, but they got
he's
Drake May.
definitely. Oh, he's definitely better than Drake May. He's absolutely a
Maybe the
better
Steelers.
solution.
I know, but like, I don't think they're regretting not having him. Maybe the Steelers, which I kind of want to get to in a second here, but
Take away from
Bron-
this game,
Broncos, yeah,
bro.
Browns.
Yeah. Take away from this game. The Browns at quarterback is just an absolute mess. The takeaway from this Jets 49ers game is you got to be really scared about the way that your defense played.
Yeah,
Really afraid
yeah,
because I was one of the guys who was coming on a show every week saying that that's a 2000s era defense. That's a Ravens hard hitting, Giants hard hitting, Patriots hard hitting, Eagles hard hitting defense in 2024. And those kids got shut out without CMC behind center. The 49ers proved that they could pick anybody off the street, put them in a uniform, and they will run up and down on your ass all day long. And you're supposed to be this aura of the Legion of Boom almost. I mean, dude, that was just
yeah.
you knew what was going to happen offensively if you shut down 5 and we dominate you on the defensive side of the ball and Brees Hall. What else are you going to do? That
Their defense
nothing.
had to give them a chance. Their defense gave them no chance at
No
all,
chance at all.
because their
No chance
offense
at
was
all.
stalling, unlike what happened with the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense gave a struggling Eagles offense a chance. They got back in it. Jets offense was brutal to start that game, and
Yep.
then it just got away from them because the defense couldn't stop them.
Yep.
Like that's just what happened at the end of the day. Both
They
teams are
got
going
it.
to be fine. I think I'm interested to see with the head coach, if they keep losing, do they make a change? Does Rodgers say, "I need a new guy in here"?
Yeah, what would be nuts is, again, I just think
If
that he
they
won't go
start
there
one and
because he hates
four,
them.
like
The biggest mistake, and
I didn't see their record or their
I don't know if
schedule.
it's worse for the
One, two.
Eagles.
Oh, they got wins on the calendar. They got
They got
Tennessee, New England,
if they
Denver.
don't go 4 and
Okay.
1, if they
Yeah.
don't go 4 and 1 though, if they're not 4 and 1 by week 6,
But when they play Buffalo.
he should be fired.
Yeah, they gotta
They should
be.
win these next 4 games
Hmm.
outright.
Yeah.
Some by a touchdown.
Hmm.
And they might not. They might narrowly scrape by.
Yep.
All right. We going into picks or we doing any
No,
other recaps?
I just came up with an idea. Let's go a minute for each
Okay.
game here. All right.
Okay. Go.
Just thoughts, 1 minute each. We're gonna do it.
All right.
We're
I'll
gonna.
time you.
I kind of like this. We're gonna do each, break down a couple of the main games moving forward here, and then we're gonna go a minute for each game. Let's start Steelers Falcons. We're gonna pull it up. Bang. All right. Well, I mean, does Justin Fields? I mean, obviously he's gonna be the starter. They just said it today. But what's up with that Falcons team? And does Russell Wilson keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Kirk is dead, which is great because my fantasy team is dead now. I had Jordan Love. Hopefully, pray to God he'll be back. And then my backup, who I thought would be Kirk, um, can't get it done. I think that Pittsburgh, man, is absolutely on the verge of collapse. They might win 7 games, and
The Falcons. You
no,
think
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh?
might win 7 games, might win 7 games, even coming off that. I mean, dude, they are so screwed up at the quarterback position, so
Yeah.
screwed up outside of their defense. It's terrible, man. And they're dealing, you can't do that in the NFL anymore.
hmm Yeah, and then I told everybody about the Falcons. This team has too many moving parts to get ready to click right away like that,
Yep.
and it's going to be interesting to see if they rebound Monday night against the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to shellac them. Dang, right there, 1 minute, 1 second,
Love.
nailed it. All right, next one, Bills Cardinals. I thought this was a pretty good football game. I know you said you really didn't get. You
Easiest.
were at a wedding.
I didn't have to watch it. It was the easiest pick of the century.
Yeah.
Cardinals plus the 6.5. You knew that Buffalo wasn't going to cover that. You knew that the Cardinals were a fully healthy Kyler Murray with his full offensive.
They're an interesting team.
They're ready to rock and roll, man, when healthy. And the Bills are what the Bills always are: high scoring and a lot of mistakes. That's it.
Yeah, they made a lot of mistakes that kept that Cardinals team in it. And credit to the Cardinals. Before they weren't able to capitalize on that. They're finally healthy on offense. They got some weapons. Where Marvin Harrison didn't even really. I think he had one catch. Like
Exactly. Didn't do much at all.
it was crazy. But their
Yep.
defense, it wasn't able to hold up at the end of the day once Josh Allen finally got going and was figuring it out a little bit there. It's going to be interesting. They really didn't run the football still. So I guess that's just going to be their identity. But this Buffalo team, they're going to have some ups and downs this season for
Yep.
sure. And I don't think they're going to be too high powered of a squad. But it's interesting, this Cardinals team, because we're going to see the line for this upcoming week that I think is really interesting. Bang, one
Bang.
on the
That
on
was
the
the best
dot.
one so far.
All right, let's go. Titans, Bears. I mean, ugly. Caleb
Be honest.
Williams, what are we doing? Like, I get rookie quarterbacks struggle to start the year, but 2 points off a 2 point conversion. The Bears defense is legit. They were legit last year. That was the only thing they needed was a quarterback.
Yep.
Now they're going to take some time to figure it out. The young guy, as a fantasy owner of him in my one deep league, 16-man league, he just needs to paint the nails a different color, figure it out a little bit, learn how to hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift. This offensive line, they got to kind of scheme it up a little bit better. Get Odunze, who might be hurt, the ball. And then Keenan Allen's got to wake up and realize he's still a good wide receiver and he's not that old anymore. Like he can't fall into this father time stuff or else they're going to be screwed. DJ Moore needs to get the ball too. That offense just struggled.
Yeah, I think that it was just a total overhype of going into week one, hosting at home. Thank God they got the win. Caleb is going to develop. He's going to be great at some point. But, dude, he's being asked to take a team that has had centuries of horribleness
Fine.
to the promised land.
All right. Patriots Bengals. Oh my God, that one killed us.
All right, last one. Here we go.
Dude, we can keep going for a minute. We're good. I mean,
All
that
right.
game killed us, dude. I mean, the Bengals. Joe started off 0-2 the last 3 years when he's been healthy. I
He's
think
terrible. He might be the
yeah,
worst quarterback ever.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna bounce back. They got the Chiefs, so they might start 0-2, but it'll be interesting to see this team kind of bounce back because their offense was struggling because they didn't have their receivers in there. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
it's not as easy as just plug and play. All right,
And you don't
Texans
have Joe,
Colts.
and you don't have Joe Mixon anymore. Last point, but
Yeah,
yes.
Texans Colts. Wow, two really good offenses that I really
Yep.
like.
Yep.
I
CJ
mean,
Stroud is so ready to rock and roll, dude. He is so quick, so fast. He is seeing things. Again, I'm going to make this hot take. If you want to get something in early, if you can find it on an app, pick Houston to be the #1 seed in the AFC. God, do they have an easy schedule? And man, oh man, do they have the talent to just roll over teams? An
they
in
didn't roll the
division win.
Colts here though, bro. The
I know,
Colts are a good squad, dog.
but they
Like
won.
Anthony Richardson's got a cannon, dude.
Oh, I
And
know.
The,
He
the
can
guy knows
throw.
how to make it happen for that Colts team. That defense, if they can get it together a little bit, that's going to be an interesting 1-2 punch in the AFC South moving forward.
Totally agree. I just think that they've got the ability to get over that hype and that or that mountain. at
No, for
home.
sure. I think that was a big win for them. They could have lost that, and the Colts could have kind of said, "Hey, the Texans, you guys aren't the class of this. Everybody
Yes.
else can compete, but the Texans answered."
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Dolphins, Jags. I was telling you, man, the Jags are going to be a decent football team.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
going to hang with guys. Now they kind of choked it away at the end here. It was such a weird possession where ETN's going down the field, going for a touchdown. Peanut punched the ball out, reaching for it, kind of, and then Tyreek Hill 80-yard touchdown the other way. It's a 3-point football game all of a sudden.
Yep.
I mean, that's just kind of what the Dolphins are going to do to teams. Jags have an opportunity to, you got to limit those mistakes. 0 points in the second half. It seemed like they almost didn't want to try to move the ball anymore because they were
Well,
afraid. But I mean, this Dolphins team is just so explosive that they can be in any game and they can be out of any game too if they're not clicking on
that
offense.
that's the truth, man. They have again. I'll go back to it. The Dolphins have proven through week one they made no change to their speed category, which is we only go fast. And if fast is not working out, then we're not winning. They narrowly scrape by at home. I got to say,
Yeah,
not
their
a good not
defense
a good
pitched
look
a
for Miami.
defense pitched a shutout in the second half, so that's a positive for them at
Yeah,
least. Beautiful, right on the money there. Panthers Saints 30 seconds. I mean, what the heck is up with the Panthers? I mean, is this team gonna go 0 and 16,
who do you think's worse right now,
0 and
them or New
17?
York? That's the real question. That's kind of going to be the race: is who's going to be
I
worse?
think the Panthers have more hope just
I do
because it's
too.
only the second year of the
It's
guy.
only the second year. Yep, totally
Now,
agree.
Saints, is this anything for the Saints? Are they going to
No,
be decent? No, they just play a
no.
really
This
bad
is what they
football
should
team,
have been. They played a really bad football team, and this
and
is
they
what
took
they
care of
should have been
business.
doing.
Yeah,
And they
the
should have been
Saints are
doing
going to
this.
be a 500 football team that might give some
Yes,
problems, but they're not
yes,
going to be anything crazy.
exactly.
All right, Vikings, Giants. I mean, Vikings, Sam Darnold.
Sammy
He
D's legit. I've been
he
saying
can
it for
still
years.
he can still get it
Saying it
done
for
a little bit
years.
for you there. They're another team that I'm kind of in the boat with the Saints, where they can be competitive and
Absolutely.
they can give their team other teams. I think they match up pretty well in the NFC North there, where they can play some defense. Sam Darnold can control the ball. You got a couple offensive weapons there. You get Hawkinson back in a couple weeks. They could be okay.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. If Minnesota truly had a top 10 quarterback, they would be my outright favorite to win the Super Bowl. That
Jeez.
team is so ready to
Jeez.
go. I mean, it's just the truth, man. I mean, that offensive
And like,
firepower that they have,
yes, I don't
and
know
they're
about their defense is that ready, but
but dude, they can compete at any
yeah,
level, and they always have, and that's all you need really
yeah,
on defense.
yeah.
Um,
Giants, worst team in the league.
but dude, is Sam Darnold going to I mean, dude, he might change the course of his career this year if he can get above 500.
Yeah, because there's plenty of teams that still need QBs. Like you
Yes,
can still see
yes,
it.
dude.
Yeah, because JJ McCarthy's probably going to come in there after this year
Right.
and take over. But yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, Broncos Seahawks. Broncos not a huge. I wasn't on them to begin with.
No.
Seahawks. It was kind of disappointing that the game was as close as it was.
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks, if they were a legit team, should have took care of this Broncos team,
Yep.
especially with the way that Bo Nix was throwing the ball around the field, just kind of like, hey, it's there. Let's see what happens. And the safeties to start the game, their O line can be a problem. They weren't running the football as great as they probably should have been. That
Yep.
defense was fine for the Seahawks, but with a guy like McDonald going there, you wanted to see him revamped and really take over a game. Just didn't happen, I don't think.
I have no opinion on the game.
All right. Cowboys Browns. I mean, Deshaun
Cowboys are Cowboys are
terrible.
exactly yeah. Deshaun terrible. Cleveland, who is a team built to beat anybody, clearly is not anymore. And the Cowboys are who they always are. They are a high scoring team. I will say they put 33 up on that Cleveland defense.
Yeah.
That is something to recognize.
Yeah. Do
That's
you think the
legit.
defense kind of saw? I mean, you didn't really get a chance to watch it. You were at the wedding, but do you think the defense kind of knew that they didn't really have a chance out there? They were, you know what I'm saying, where they weren't going out there inspired and they were just like, yeah, whatever. You know, where
Well, dude,
they've been fired up in the past where they felt like they would give themselves a chance in games where this one it was just kind of over.
no, man. I mean, let's look at it right now. When
Second
did this?
quarter,
I mean,
13 in the second quarter, 10 in the third.
I mean, dude, the way that Cleveland defense played last year when they didn't know what was happening, and then they finally signed Flacco, they were keeping guys in. I think that Dak was just that good after getting paid. And I mean, dude, they got it to their guy. CD went off. He did not regress week one.
Yeah. Last one, Bucks Commanders. I was a little higher on
Bad
the
look.
Commanders. They were terrible. I mean, that defense
Bad
is
look.
Yeah, the offense could move the football a little bit, but I mean, Baker Mayfield, I like them. I think they have a lot of weapons. Obviously, they dominated the Eagles last year in the playoffs. 37 points. That's crazy for
It's
them. I
nuts.
mean, that Commanders team, it's going to be interesting. They might be in the bottom three this year with that defense. You have potential
Yeah.
on their offense with the QB there, but I mean, the Bucks went and they took care of business. That's a veteran squad that has a real chance where I like my pick of them repeating winning that division.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I think that that win over Washington is so much more resounding than um than the Saints win over Carolina.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, let's hit a quick break here, refresh the pollers, and we'll be right back. We're going to give you our HTP and our four picks and our lock of the week. All right, we'll be right back. All right,
All
we're
right.
back.
Open it up. We're in your favorite. We're a part of the favorite part of your show. What did I just even say there? Nothing that sounded logical.
Let
We
us
are
let
now
us know
in
what you thought about that. Trying a little
the
something
minute.
different, recapping the games. I think we'll get more involved with all the games. I think it'll be good for
Me
clips
too.
and all that too. But appreciate us. Let us know in the comment section below. Like, follow, subscribe, of course. And let's get into it. We're gonna give you the HTP, the Harry Trilly parlay. We're gonna give you four picks, whether over, unders, spreads, whatever. And then we'll give you two touchdown scores with the HTP and two of our picks. And of course, I don't know, you can't say locks anymore, can you? But we're not sponsored yet, so we can say locks still.
Absolutely. It's a lock. When we give you some, you know what? No, we'll call it a certainty.
Certain.
This is a
Okay.
certainty.
All right.
Okay. Let's get into it, baby. I think Trill, Dog, the Bod, the lines here, they're begging you to lose money. I mean, I've never seen lines that are
Yeah.
begging you to lose money more than ever. Look at this, brother. You got the Bills Dolphins as a pick 'em. You've got Chargers Panthers, Panthers +6, Chargers -6 when
I
they
don't got the
had one
Dolphins
quarter of
winning.
good football. You've got Dallas -6.5. The Lions minus a touchdown after we saw what the Bucks can do, and after the Lions played the way that they did. The Packers are catching 3, even though they've got way more talent than
Yeah,
the
but I
Colts
mean
do.
the quarterback still,
I
that's a
I get it.
problem.
I get it. Dude, I don't know where you want to start. I don't know if you want to go first. I know that I think I'm ready to start. I think I know
Yeah.
what my
I
first
think
pick
that
is.
Bucks Lions game is weird, but go ahead, you go first.
My first pick is going to be the under 49 Bills Dolphins. This game is begging you to take the Bills at +2.5. It is nuts that they are catching points. Everyone will be betting the Bills. That is absolutely crazy. I think that both of these teams have a lot of difficulty getting things done. You would think, again, what do we always say? When the line is drawing you a certain way, oh, the over 49, that's so easy for these two teams. They'll do that in a minute. Go the other way. Under 49, 48.5, 49, wherever you're on. Under 40, under 49, Bills Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You know how I feel about primetime unders. I just can't do it.
Yep.
I tried to go give in and take the unders last season. It didn't go well for me. Of course, once I go one way, they go the other when it comes to primetime situations. But we were hot last week. I told you the Eagles, Packers over that nailed. I don't have a take on that game. I think it'll be interesting. I want to see points and I want to see offense. I think it is weird that the Bills are catching 2.5. But I can see the Dolphins. Whoever comes out on this game, if it's a close one, it'll be interesting. That I really like the Jets staying in this division. But if one of these teams can kind of pull away from the other, I think they're the heavy favorite moving forward for the rest
Mm.
of the season. But for my first pick, I think I'm gonna go to the game that the team I've been hot on. They choked last week against those Dolphins. Give me the Jags money line. They're going to beat the Cleveland Browns this week. I think Deshaun Watson, with everything going on, I mean, PFT and Big Cat had an interesting take on the whole situation. He's gotten really bad at football, considering how bad of a person he is. He might be his talent level has gotten almost just as bad. And I think the situation at hand here, the Jags need to bounce back after a tough way they finished last week. I think they have, if not the same amount of talent, more on the offensive side of the football. The defense that the Browns might need to step up and they might prove what they were last season. but give me the Jags money line to start that off.
I dig it. I dig it. Okay. Um, wow. Look at wow, what an awful game that Giants Commander game is. Oh, how terrible is that? To
I
pick
think
them
it's an
too,
easy pick.
which is
I'm surprised
nuts.
that it's 1.5.
Me too. What do you on what side?
I mean, you gotta go Commanders, right? At least
See, I disagree. I think you got to take the Giants.
the talent level on offense alone that the Commanders showed. Daniel Jones can score points.
But the way that they got housed at home, they're due for a rebound. I would. The coach is better for sure.
Who's the coach now? Dan Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not touching that game though.
No, I'm not touching it.
A game that's a trap though that's an absolute trap is that Rams Cardinals game. But
That's
listen,
the
I'm
game.
not. That's a game. Oh, absolutely, it's a
Yeah.
trap. How is that? How is that a one? How is that a pickup?
I don't know. The Cardinals played well, but I
The
don't know.
Rams should be favored in this game.
Yes. For them to be plus 100, I feel like you gotta take them, right?
No, again, I think that's
I
another line
know.
where everyone's touching it. I'm not touching that game.
I'm taking them. I'm taking the Rams.
You're
Give it
taking
to
the
me. Give it
Rams
to me.
outright?
Yes,
I
outright.
love that. All right, Rams money line. You're a big underdog guy today. All right,
Um,
brother. My next one is
I
going to
mean the
be
Jags were a favorite.
again. I think that this is really nuts. So much is odd. I don't know where. I don't. Mm, mm, mm.
I got another one staring me at the face that's ugly. That's really, really ugly. But I love it.
I'm gonna go over 40 and a half Jets on the
Jets,
road to the Giants.
Titans.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yep.
That is exactly what I was alluding to. Give me that too. Give me the over in that.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah, Aaron's gotta really step up here. He knows that
Yes.
he's got to let people know who he is. And the
Now,
Titans, I just think are a team that people are gonna roll over, man.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
are we nervous that the Titans won't give us anything though?
no,
Or do
no,
you think the
because I
Jets need to step up that much?
no, I think it's that. I think that listen, dude, if Aaron doesn't score 21 on his own, I think he feels like a failure. Aaron's
Mm,
got to put like Reese has got to go crazy, but Aaron again, I mean, dude, Aaron only threw for one touchdown.
mm.
He's got to get two in there. No, I love it. All right, let me give a third pick. You're at three. I'm gonna go. You know what, man? I'm feeling it. I can't believe that I'm feeling it, but I am. I'm taking Cincinnati plus the 5.5. They're going to be back at full strength.
Interesting.
They always play the Chiefs well. They're going to have their whole receiving core back. Are they going to have their whole receiving core back, or am I making that up? Am I a liar?
I mean, they have at least Chase.
Chase,
I don't know about I wanted to say
Higgins.
Wiggins. Yeah, Higgins. Yeah, I don't know about him yet, but
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a big line. Bengals plus the 5.5. Everybody's going to be betting the Chiefs. All right, dude. Give us one more, and then we go to our locks. We both get one more, and then to locks.
um, I think this game is going to be like the Monday Night Football game again, where this 49ers team, their offense is cooking. They're going to put up points. Give me the over 45.5 49ers Vikings. I think they can be up 35-17. I think the Vikings can score a touchdown or two. Yeah, give me that over. I think 49ers are going to keep putting up points there. And I
What's it
think
over?
45.5. And
Okay.
I think the Vikings have enough power to at least get you a touchdown and two, maybe two field goals.
Yeah, man. Can't believe I'm going to say this, but is this at home?
But you're making me think about my lock with your one pick. So I don't know if I
Well, you don't even know what my one pick is.
well, your
My
one yeah, no, go ahead.
my lock's going to be crazy. No, man. I think yeah, for my final pick, I'm going under 46 and a half. Under 46 and a half, Saints Cowboys.
Okay.
All right, you ready? You go your lock first because mine's nuts.
Well, I was leaning towards the Chiefs at 5.5, but
All right.
you're talking me out of it a little bit, and I'm gonna go more old reliable here, and I'm just gonna take the Birds. Give me them 6.5.
Betting your own team on the lock. We love
Yeah,
that on this show. We don't
yeah.
give a crap.
When I go for a lock, I have to feel confident. When I feel most confident is the teams I watch the most, and I feel like this
That's the
Eagles
Eagles.
team is going to absolutely roll the Falcons on Monday Night Football. I'm going to be down there. I might hang out with Jason Kelsey for a little bit. It's going to be
I love it.
electric, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great night, hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That
this
might
is
be clipped and just like ba bum ba bum, and then me reacting and screaming and yelling down at the tailgates. But
you're
it's not going to happen. We're going to be
you're next
pumped
to
up.
him. You're
Yeah.
next to him. The phone is like this. You're like, I love you. And like that's playing. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, they're at home. They're the worst football team, if not the second worst. They're playing against a team that feels high and mighty after their first win when they only played one good quarter of football and they got roused in their last game. They're here to cover the spread. Ladies and gentlemen, my Carolina Panthers will cover the 6.
Ew.
Carolina +6.
Oh, that is gross for a
Yep.
lock. I mean, Big Cat said it. You want to feel dumb, bet on Bryce Young. You know?
I didn't hear that, but I say
No.
God bless. All right, let's go to the HTLP. As you know, if you're new to the show, this is where we do 2 bets each in a parlay lock, or as we call them, a certainty here, and we give that to you free and easy. We give this pick to you for free. We don't ask you to pay for it. We give it to you as a toast, as a salute to the fandomship, the love that we share. Now, we do 2 regular teams, and then we do 2 touchdowns. So we each get a touchdown, and we each get a team pick. Trill, whatever you got first, go ahead.
I mean, I think we both got to, since we were both on it, we got to go that over Jets Titans, right? 40.5. I mean, we were both on it.
I don't think no, man. I don't think that we go over Jets Titans. I think that we take
What,
I
just the
think that we
Jets
take
at
I
3?
think no, man. I think that we take
What are we doing here?
I think we take Garrett Wilson to score. 5's got to get in the end zone. Plus 165.
All right,
I
fine.
love him for an anytime touchdown.
All right. Well, you could take that if you want. I had my
All right.
touchdown score, but all right. Then fine. I'll go with my touchdown score then. Give it to me. Prime time. Nico Collins
Ooh,
plus 145. Didn't get in
wow.
the end zone last week, but still putting up hella yards. The guy's a stud. Love him. Picked him up last year late in fantasy
Plus money
football.
too.
Kept him this year. Guy's gonna be a stud. He's gonna get in the end zone Sunday night.
Plus money. I love it. I mean,
How do we feel about your Ravens against that Raiders team?
no value in it. I mean, cover the 8. No, the Raven these bets have the Ravens game has no value. They're minus 448. Cover the 8. That's a big spread coming off a loss. They could do it, but that's a big spread at home for the home opener. No, I don't want to touch that game. If anything, I'd rather take Green Bay plus the 3.
Okay. I don't love that.
We can take Green Bay plus the 3, or in all honesty, we can take. I mean,
Well, we're trying to get everybody winners here. We need to hit this parlay to build this bankroll for the rest of the season. I don't want to whiff it on the 1 o'clock hour like we did last Thursday with
all
somebody
right, all
picked
right,
Zay
all right, all
Flower.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Well, then, if we're gonna do anything, man, you know what I would honestly say? I'd say we throw in that under for Buffalo, Miami.
No, I just said let's not end this early because we
Oh,
don't need the parlay
this Thursday
over.
game.
We don't need it over
Facts.
before the weekend. Let's stay to the
All right,
Saturday,
let's go crazy
Sunday.
here. Let's go. This would be my pick: Steelers money line, not to cover, just to
All
win
right,
on the road.
that I'm cool with.
Yeah,
What do you think? Seahawks 3.5 over the Pats. Patriots actually got to win.
I kind of like the Patriots to win that game.
Uh,
That's
uh,
probably stupid though. I don't know if you can bet the Patriots
That's what I'm
after just coming
saying.
off a win.
That's what I'm saying. They're
Yeah. No, I like Seahawks. Seahawks to cover the 3.5. They got to make a statement. They're going long though. They got to travel long. Yeah, let's take them. Minus the 3.5.
Steelers, and then
15 wins you 291.
beautiful.
It's a
Love
good
it.
bet.
It's a good bet. It's a great bet. That's the HTP is what it is. It's beautiful. Let's get after it.
HTC, Harry Trilly certainty.
Oh, sorry, I forgot we changed it up. Yeah,
The
certainty.
HTC, the
Sorry.
Harry Trilly certainty. Do you hear how that comes off the tongue?
Yeah, beautiful.
We got Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, and the Pittsburgh Steelers to win outright, and the Seahawks to cover the 3.5. Total odds of 1945. 15 wins you 291.78. Book it. We're gonna get it to you. We love you.
Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on the YouTube. Leave a comment what you think. Give us your favorite pick in the comments. We're going to be posting the stuff on Instagram throughout the week. Make sure you're following, subscribing. Love you. Shout out to 215. Go Birds, baby. I was waiting for the Go Ravens.
Go Rave.
Oh, yeah. You're not. They lose one game and you're giving up on them?
I gotta listen, man. I'm trying to log in because I can't do what I did last time, which is not get the bet in.
Oh, my God.
Is this still recording?
Yeah.
Go Raven.
There it is.